I've just upgraded the memory in a UGREEN DXP4800 Plus NAS system. How did it go? Well, from the status screen, you can see that it's now got 16 gigabytes of memory and it comes by default with 8. There's a small snag. I bought 4800 megahertz memory instead of 5600 that the default memory is. It won't cause a problem, it'll just run at 4800 megahertz. So how easy was it to upgrade the RAM, and did I have any problems along the way? Let's do it.
Sheridan Computers, IT, Communications, Support.
First thing, we're going to just go into Control Panel and then About, and this is where it gives you the general information about your system. So you can see under Hardware, it says here Memory, which is Samsung, and it's 8 gig at 5600. So I bought another 8 gig. I'm just going to be adding to this. So we're just going to be adding one additional stick. If you wanted to go to more than 16 gig or whatever, you can obviously remove the existing memory, replace them both if necessary. Now it does say that this system takes up to 64 gig of RAM, but I have seen people install 96 gig of RAM in it. But the official docs say 64, but we're just going to be taking it to 16. Right, so the first thing is obviously we need to shut the NAS down. So go to Me, Shut Down, and then let it shut down. And it's beeped and it's off. So now we're going to access the escape hatch and add the additional memory. So just be careful. I'm not taking the hard drives out. I'm literally just turning the device upside down. We've got this hatch on the bottom that you can see here. And this is what we need to remove. The memory is under here. So let's take the 2 screws out. And then that just pops up like so. So you can see the existing memory is here. And we have a spare slot on top of it. And if I take this memory out, you can see on the board it does actually say what type of RAM. So in this case we've got DDR5 SODIMM. So I'll put the original memory back in. Just make sure it's properly seated. And you can see I've got DDR5. This is actually a slower memory speed. So when I've looked at this, I picked up 4800. It'll just run at the slowest speed that you've got. So I don't recommend that you buy cheap RAM. Cheap RAM you might have issues with. So let's just fit this one. So just push it in, make sure the pins are all the way in. And don't apply too much pressure. And it just clips in place like that. So now we're good to put the lid back on. So make sure the lid's secure, then gently turn it back upside down, well, the right way up. Okay, let's power it on and see what happens. Hopefully there won't be any compatibility issues, and it will boot. So it does have a HDMI out on the, this one's a DXP4800 Plus, and it has an HDMI out. So you might want to just hook a monitor up just so you can see what's happening. I have done here. And we've got no video out. Oh, there we go. So doing this, at least you can see the Grub installer, and then we'll be able to see Linux booting and if there's any issues. I'm sorry that has gone a bit small. It's because it's hooked up to a 4K capture card. Obviously, you can just switch it on and wait to see if you get a beep, but it is helpful if you can see the actual video out than the operating system booting. Debian in this case, which is the stock UGOS install. And there's the system booted beep. So we should get the display change here in a second. And I think with that, we should be safe to log in. So flick this over. Let me hit try again. Obviously log back in. Just as we did in the first part of the video, we're going to check that the memory is recognized. So control panel. And then again, under service, go into about. And when the system information comes up under hardware, this time you can see we have the original memory 1 Samsung. Actually, I've made a mistake here. The stock memory is 5600, and I wasn't sure, so I bought 4800. So even though they run in different speeds, it will be fine, but it'll just run at the lower speed. So this 5600 will actually run at 4800. So you're better off getting the 5600 megahertz. And again, if you get anything faster than 5600, it's just going to run at the speed of the slowest stick of memory in there, so it'll run at 5600. So I suggest you go with 5600. But as you can see, we've got 8 gig of RAM, 8 gig of RAM. They're mixed. One's Micron, one's Samsung. And as I mentioned while I was putting the memory in, I suggest that you get decent memory, because the cheaper memory can be problematic. Not just for UGREEN, for any device. So Crucial is a good make to go with, or Samsung. Now if we go into an application such as Docker, we should see that memory is available to us. So say I just went up to 16. This is a test unit, but I will be testing the 10 gig out and putting some larger hard drives in it, and I'll probably give it more memory at some stage. But it just shows how versatile this system is, and obviously allows you to run virtual machines, Docker containers, and it just expands what you can do with this device, because it does have quite good hardware. So the hardware is a bit overkill just for storage. If you're thinking of upgrading the RAM in your UGREEN NAS and you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, give us a thumbs up, help other people who want to upgrade their RAM find this video and do the same. I do have more videos planned, such as fitting NVMe for cache storage to make it a little bit faster when we switch to 10 gig. If you'd like to see this unit from start to finish for the install, watch this video here. If you're interested in UGREEN NAS devices, subscribe to the channel. I've got quite a few more coming. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.